Welcome back. On Friday, there was a high-level conference regarding transportation and housing problems related to the city of Los Angeles and the need for more housing. It comes following a survey by the Los Angeles Business Council. Mary Leslie joins us. She is president of the Los Angeles Business Council, and they do an annual survey with the Los Angeles Times. This time, you surveyed people in the city of Los Angeles, and it was about housing and whether or not they can afford to live here. What was it you were trying to accomplish?
I think what we're trying to learn this time is the broader issues of affordability and how people are feeling about it, and in particular, the perspective of renters and owners.
So what were the results?
What we found out is that the geographic differences you might think could appear in a poll, and the socioeconomic and race-related attitudes, that across the board, everybody felt similarly, that housing has become unaffordable and it's affecting their quality of life.
Right, but that's not all that surprising. Everybody knows that it's just not affordable. There's just not enough housing.
Owners and renters differ. Renters are more inclined to think about leaving. When we asked that question back in 21, 30% of the people polled said they considered leaving LA. This time, 60%. And of the 60%, disproportionately, 2/3 were renters. And they were young, under 35, which actually makes sense because they have more choices, right? They don't own anything in LA. They can leave. We also tested attitudes about what the problem entailed. People felt a lot more comfortable about their quality of life and livability in their community versus citywide. They also indicated that they want additional housing supply across the board. People understand supply and demand, that the lack of supply is keeping the cost high. But when it comes to building new units, they're not sure if it's for them. They're concerned that new housing that goes in is either more than they can afford and they're priced out, or it's for people that are lower income and they're not eligible. So we've talked about this for years, Conan, that donut hole, the people between, and this is going to sound nerdy, 80% to 150% of AMI, people making 60, 70, 80,000 to 100,000, 110,000, firefighters, teachers, nurses, you name it. We are not building housing for them.
You and the Business Council have said that Karen Bass has a plan. You've endorsed that plan. Why do you think it's going to succeed?
Because when the mayor got elected, she declared an emergency, and she expedited within 60 days all permitting for 100% affordable housing. And basically, we were able to entitle over 16,000 units last year, which is unheard of. We've never reached those kinds of numbers. And she wants to extend that to mixed income. The voter understands supply and demand. And they understand that the high prices are due to lack of supply. So keep coming up with creative ways to plan and communicate where the housing units are that we need and get community buy-in for it. Because right now, even if you don't want it in your single family neighborhood, you still want it. Because I don't know about you, Conan, I've got a 26-year-old and a 29-year-old. They are not going to live in Los Angeles unless things get more affordable, right? And one's a lawyer, okay? He can afford, by any normal standard, he would be able to afford it. But right now, you're basically pricing out the people that are at the top, that are paid very well.
Mary Leslie is the president of the Los Angeles Business Council, a trade organization, 500 members, businesses, nonprofits, even government agencies. Mary, thanks for taking the time and good luck.
Thank you, Conan.
And one other thing, this is related. This past week, the California Supreme Court took up arguments over a ballot measure that has qualified for the November ballot, but that Governor Gavin Newsom and Democratic leaders of the legislature have sued to keep off the ballot. It's called the Taxpayer Protection Act, and it would require a vote of the people before the state raises taxes. The governor says that shouldn't be on the ballot because it changes fundamentally the nature of government. Supporters of the measure say no, it's part of what we do here in California. It's called direct democracy. Here were some of the arguments for taking it off the ballot and those saying no, the public, the voters, should weigh in.
Well, the Constitution doesn't allow revisions to be presented to the voters or to be achieved by initiative. And so our argument is that this is a change in the foundational powers of the legislature and the governor, and that's why it's not able to be proposed by initiative.
What we saw today is that the Supreme Court, I think, is a little hesitant to engage in a pre-election review. They might want to address some of the provisions later, but right now, this is about empowering taxpayers, and I think we're particularly incensed at the suggestion by the governor's attorneys that the people of the state of California aren't smart enough to control their own taxation.
California Supreme Court will decide over the next several weeks whether or not this measure should go before voters in November. Up next, remembering Sam Rubin over at KTLA. That when we return.